What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great week as we start rolling into the weekend here. A lot to talk about. There is a potential big-time dynamic system for Christmas Eve and Christmas, and we're getting into 5, 6, 7 days out now. And we can really start to talk about this thing. It's been showing up for about 2 to 3 days, but there is a real potential for snow somewhere in the southeast, potential for severe weather in the southeast. We're going to break all this down. If you guys haven't subscribed and you're a new viewer, much appreciated if you do. I've had major growth over the last couple weeks, and it's all thanks to y'all. Y'all really helping me almost live a mini dream come true here. We're just getting to talk about something I love to an audience, so it's much appreciated. I'm very active on Twitter, very active on Facebook, and I love talking to everyone. So drop a comment, leave a like, and I'll try to get back to you very quickly. But let's get going into this thing. So I'm going to start out with this because most people who are viewing this video are viewing it because of the winter weather chances for Christmas Eve and Christmas. And there is a chance. Maybe not in South Carolina where I live, where I talk mostly weather about, but as in a whole in the southeast. When you see this, this is actually legit. This is the day 4 to 7 winter weather outlook from the National Weather Service. And those are the experts. Those are the professionals. Those are the guys who do this for a real living here. So they know what they're talking about. So they're already highlighting a 10% chance almost all the way to Birmingham, Alabama, almost into Atlanta, almost all of Tennessee, Knoxville. It's crazy here. Nashville, almost in Charlotte and Greensboro. 10% chance to see potentially some kind of winter weather. A 10% chance of a quarter-inch of liquid equivalent to snow and sleet. So that's basically a quarter-inch of liquid that's snow or sleet. Basically what I just said. So that's significant. That's a 10% chance. You already got a 30% chance up here. But it's already highlighting something at day 7. So that's, to me, that's some alarm sounding that we got something maybe coming here in the future. But let's go on and get rolling. So we're going to start off by the GFS. This is the 18Z GFS. Here we go. And if you are some new viewers who don't know, this is Tropical Tidbits. This is, make sure your video's in 720 so you can see this. December 19th. So this is for tomorrow. And we're going to keep going. And the number right is going to keep changing, obviously, to each day. So the 20th, 21st, you got some rain that moves in the southeast here as we get into late this weekend into early part of next week. And here comes our front. Now, you can see snow breaking out over here, but this thing is going to drop. The bars are going to get tight here. The 540 line is going to surge down here. The 540 line is basically the freezing line aloft. So here it comes the big front. Now, here comes the system. We get what you call an antifront. And basically what that is a giant cold front, a widespread cold front, and you get low pressure systems that are able to ride along this. So what happens here is you got this huge trough digging, and you almost have maybe some potential severe weather. You have warm air surging in right here in this area, and you have a massive gradient cutoff here. Gradient as in major temperature drop. So you're getting a cold air chasing moisture event, and for people who just know a little bit about weather, you don't have to know a lot, know that in the Carolinas, and even parts of Georgia, this does not work well for winter weather. But we're going to watch this. We need some kind of low pressure to pop off right here to interact with this moisture right here in this cold air. The old saying goes, and it's still prevalent today, is you need cold air here first. And that is true 95% of the time in the Carolinas. You need the cold air here first, and you need some kind of low pressure to move through here. But this is going to be a dynamic system. And here it comes. There's still moisture left, and it shows half of this chunk of moisture associated with this front being flat out snow in Tennessee, and heavy wet snow, switching from heavy rain, potentially storms, into snow, even as far south as northern Alabama, northern Mississippi. And look at it. It starts to mix here in Atlanta. This is one model. This is the operational model. So this isn't a forecast, but check out these yellows and dark greens. This isn't a short range model, so we're a long ways out until we get in short range models that we can really see what kind of severe weather we're going to get out of this. But I'm going to talk a little bit more into later in this video. It's going to be a longer video, so stay tuned. but about the severe weather event too, because I tell you what, if you gotta pick snow or severe weather and pick which one has the higher chance of happening, I'm telling you what, it's going to be severe weather, especially here in the Carolinas. But check it out. Here's the GFS. It flips to from heavy rain to heavy wet snow in the mountains, and look at the time frame. So look, 18Z, which is at an afternoon, the afternoon of Christmas Eve. So imagine this: you're in the mountains, you're in eastern Tennessee, and you're doing your Christmas Eve activities, and it's just puking snow outside. Maybe even Atlanta. We just a lot of things have to come together. But once you get east of the mountains, here comes the system, and this is close. The GFS has not done a great job. It's not. It likes to, a lot of times, it likes to what you call cave to the European model, which give into it. It likes to show its own thing and flex its own guns, and then the European shows something else totally, and eventually the GFS caves to the European model and gives into it and shows a solution like it. So, like I said, this is kind of an antifront, and this gets wild for you guys in the Northeast too. So overnight, as you're getting into Christmas Eve, you're getting a raging rainstorm in places like Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and then all of a sudden a raging rainstorm goes to a raging snowstorm, and you got so much Arctic air funneling in here. And I flip it back here, because I know you North Carolina, South Carolina folks see that this, see if we can get a little closer. I don't think I have a close frame here, but you see the snow in upstate South Carolina, half of North Carolina. So it's something we need to watch. Sometimes these cold air chasing moisture events work out east of the mountains, but a lot of times it's never anything significant. The last one I remember, it was kind of like an antifront, was mid-January 2018, but you had a system starting to develop that enhanced moisture, especially in North Carolina, and places in Raleigh and Durham ended up getting over a foot of snow in some areas. And we got warm nose here in Columbia. I remember that one ate me up. But check it out. Shows snow, one run. We're going to watch this whole weekend of runs and early week. We're going to show this. But I tell you what, the bigger story when it comes to winter weather is the cold temperatures. Guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be our coldest Christmas in probably almost 2 decades if this holds true. Check it out. This is a more widespread eastern U.S. look of it. We're getting into December 24th, Christmas Eve, and here it comes, highs surging, and this is where the severe weather can happen. You see all this highs, you get warm air surging ahead of this sharp cold front. So Christmas Eve, depending on how fast this moves, and the European, I think, has a little bit quicker. I'm not sure. I have to compare and contrast them, but has temperatures surging into the 60s, 70s along eastern Carolinas and Georgia, 80s down in South Florida. But here comes the front. Plummets through around the afternoon of Christmas Eve. And when I tell you plummets through, it plummets the temperatures 20 to 30 degrees in hours. This is going to be if this plays out, the timing gets showing. This is something significant. This is a big deal. This is going to disrupt travel. This is going to be a big deal. So here it comes. And this is getting into overnight Christmas Eve into Christmas morning. Temperatures drop off big time. And look at this cold air, single digits in parts of Tennessee, 20s. But more importantly, these are highs. And we're going to get a little closer to this. But check it out. I'm about to show you high temperatures for Christmas here. If bear with me a second here. And this is high temperatures around, well, this is around Christmas afternoon, high temperatures basically for the southeast. This is crazy. Now, a lot of this, you're seeing 21, 14, 19 inches. A lot of this is because of the snow, potential snow accumulations that just the operational GFS is showing, which enhances the cold air. But there's no snow showing on this run, and I'm about to show you in South Carolina. And it's showing highs, for instance, in Columbia, 34, 37 degrees. Highs in Atlanta, 29, but it doesn't get above freezing. 30s. Even go all the way to Miami. It shows highs in the 50s. That's rare. That's rare for Miami. I mean, that is cold for them. And highs in just the teens, single digits in West Virginia. This is a really big deal. And I'm sure a lot of your weather apps are showing snow and everything for Christmas and Christmas Eve and Christmas. Stay tuned. Don't buy into that. But one thing I bet you are noticing for Christmas Day, especially for my people in South Carolina, is the high temperatures expected for Christmas are dropping lower and lower. I know I'm noticing it. I like looking at the Weather Channel app because personally I like to compare what it says compared to what modeling says. So it's always interesting to me. But here's what a lot of people want to see, and we're pretty deep in the video and showing it, unfortunately. But this is snowfall accumulation according to the latest GFS run. And check it out. It unloads. I wouldn't say unloads. It unloads for us. This is what unloading means snow-wise for us in the southeast. I tell you that. But you know, look, accumulating snow in northern Alabama, parts of northern Georgia, has a little smidget in South Carolina, still a little bit, a couple inches here in the Triad in North Carolina, the plateau of Tennessee, several inches. And the mountains just get crushed. It might be just a flat-out winter wonderland. But check out up here. Not all this is from the Christmas storm, but a lot of it is potentially another big system. In some areas, it almost got 3 feet of snow. It's just going to enhance because that snow ain't melting. I tell you what, I was up there in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and chased that storm. Yeah, their snow. It don't matter if it doesn't snow for 2 or 3 weeks. Their snow ain't going nowhere. But here you go. Here's the European model. So we're off the GFS. It's the European model. It's a little different. It's not as crazy, but I tell you what. So far, the European actually caved to the GFS. The European was showing some moisture, but it wasn't really showing any snow. So here we go. We're getting into Christmas Eve. Here's a gigantic system. And here it is already. It doesn't take long in Nashville. Nashville starts at rain, but about midday in Nashville, it flips to snow. It's showing snow all the way. Let's see if we can go on and get a little bit closer here. Here you go. Just a little bit closer. Here we go. So it's showing it flip to snow here in Nashville. All the snow mixing with rain all the way in Mississippi. This it's snowing hard too. When it flips from heavy rain in these situations to snow, you get several hours of very heavy snow, and you get a window for it to accumulate. But here it goes. It's getting into Alabama, snowing in parts of Alabama, and you're getting a little backside snow, even maybe in Atlanta. Snowing heavy in the mountains here. This is just a big old thumping of a system right here, and then it starts cranking in the northeast, and we're starting to get into Christmas morning now. And who knows, man? Maybe we can squeeze some flurries out. But look at this line right here. I'm about to show you this too. This is the 32-degree line as we're waking up Christmas morning. It's all the way down to Florida. And here comes that system just rolling through. Unfortunately, if this thing doesn't speed up for you guys in the northeast, you are going to have a warm Christmas Eve and Christmas compared to y'all's average, because basically this trough is digging so westernly that it's like a bowling ball. It kind of has to push. So basically the colder air gets southeast before it gets into the northeast, if that makes any sense. So y'all might get a raging rainstorm, especially for the interior areas, into a raging snowstorm, depending on how this works out. But the timing on this is going to change, I think. But here you go. Here's the snowfall accumulation. This is what I want to show y'all. It's not near as bullish as the GFS, but it is signaling snow into Tennessee, even a little bit smidget into Georgia, even though that might be from the system that moves through in a couple of days. But there's a solid signal of snow here in the mountains, but definitely not as bullish as the GFS. So we're going to see who caves there. But this is something big, and hopefully you guys are still tuned into this, because I think this is important right here. This is the percent chance from the European model, from European ensemble models, of 1 inch of snow through basically 324 hours out, which includes our Christmas storm. And you notice there's above 50% chance for places in the plateau of Tennessee. You're getting close to almost a guarantee of something happening in the mountains here. Not a guarantee, but you're getting close. There's a solid signal. But I know that you're not seeing a major signal here way south, but I'm telling you, you're seeing something. And this is different from years past around Christmas. There's something going on here. There's some kind of signal. There's something going on. Something's going to happen. Snow's going to fall pretty south, I think. It's just figuring out where. We get to this. So we're going to talk a little bit about the severe weather threat. And this is the threat that nobody's really talking about, because obviously everybody's excited about the possibility of snow somewhere in the south on Christmas Eve and Christmas. But check it out here. We're getting into, and here's the day range. We're getting into Christmas Eve. You can obviously tell. It don't take a rocket science or somebody who knows a lot about weather to tell what this cold front is. Here it is right there. But we're getting into the day Christmas Eve. Check out these temperatures. This is the European model. Surge into the 70s and 80s in Florida. Surge to 63 for people like Columbia. So you're going to surge because the cold front's lagging a little bit compared to the GFS. You're surging into the 70s in eastern Carolinas. And at the same time, you have a big storm system moving through, a huge trough digging. So you're going to get some severe weather from this if this holds true. But look at this cold air, and then look at the cold air that rolls through overnight Christmas Eve and just brings just a brutal air mass here, an Arctic air mass. And we're waking up into the 20s and things like that. I mean, this is some cold air, teens in Tennessee. And then check out the high temperatures. It's not, I tell you what, they're both in pretty much agreement that we're going to be frozen, except it's not quite as cold where it showed it was snowing. Snowfall was going to be in the GFS, but 37 degrees for a high in Columbia, 35 in Charlotte, freezing in Atlanta, 35 Birmingham, not getting above freezing in places of eastern Tennessee. These are high temperatures for Christmas, guys. So it's going to be cold, but here's the severe weather threat we need to talk about here. And basically, here it comes. You're getting into Wednesday next week. You're getting right before Christmas Eve, and here comes that huge dipping trough here. I mean, that thing is bowing out and moving through. Basically, where these darker reds and almost browns are, that's basically wind speed above the surface. So you're getting screaming winds. And basically what this tells me is we're going to get some kind of squall line, some kind of line of storms in the warm sector meaning whoever's able to warm up basically ahead of this cold front. Those are some nasty winds aloft, and here we go. And this is going to change a lot, but maximum wind gusts for the same system is pretty far out. But here it comes. I mean, the winds are howling Christmas Eve as you're getting ready for Christmas across the Carolinas, and I mean they're screaming in North Carolina. So this is going to be associated with a line of storms probably that's associated with the cold front. So this is a big deal. It brings in that really cold air, and here you go. We'll show you one thing with the weather, and here you go. This is through December 27th. So there's your signal on the European ensemble runs of snow. You still got a solid signal, in Tennessee, a good chunk of Tennessee. So this is going to change, guys. I know you're looking at your Weather Channel apps, even here in central South Carolina where I'm located. There's a lot of talk in the Carolinas about everybody looking at their default apps on their iPhones and the Weather Channel app, and it's showing rain snow mix or even accumulating snow according to the app. Keep in mind, guys, those are driven by model runs, probably one particular model run, and there's so many different models to look at. So don't take those serious. Don't buy into it. Don't tell everybody and their brother that it's going to snow on Christmas Eve, because that's how meteorologists, the guys that on TV, that's how they get made look bad for things like that. So make their job a little bit easier. I know there's a big audience out there who just thinks that meteorologists are just the only people out there who can do their job right 50% of the time and still get paid to do it. Man, when I hear that, it just irks me so bad. But that's just people's lack of knowledge on the weather. So things are going to change. So I'll keep y'all updated on this. This is a big time dynamic system for Christmas. So stay tuned. Thank you all for watching, and y'all have an awesome night.